Okay, so now in this problem, I am going to learn how to create a marginal relative frequency distribution table. And so what's the difference between that and the frequency tables we were creating before is that word relative. So now we are comparing our data points to a grand total here now. And see this percentage sign, that's the indicator that we're going to describe each of these cells now as percentages. So specifically in this problem, it says Marvin has been elected student body president. He submits a petition to the cafeteria director to include more of the students' favorite desserts. So in order to figure out what those favorite desserts were, he conducted an informal survey of students to support his petition. So we've got the grade level, so 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and then our favorite dessert types: donuts, ice cream sandwiches, and cookies. So I'm going to first look at, let's see, our 6th graders and donuts. 100 6th graders prefer donuts, and that 100 6th graders is out of our grand total of 509 students in this middle school. So in here, I'm going to create this fraction 100 divided by 509. And now when you do this in your worksheet or on your worksheet, you're going to want to type that right into your calculator. And then in here, actually, we are going to multiply that by 100 because we want to turn that into a percentage, right? So as you go through this, so now 6th graders who prefer ice cream sandwiches, 69 out of 509. So 69 divided by 509. You can go ahead and calculate that in your calculator and then multiply that number by 100 to make it a percentage. So what you should be getting in your calculator is 0.1356. And then when you multiply it by 100, it turns it into, moves that decimal 2 places and turns it into 13.56%. Okay, so you don't want to forget that multiplying by 100 step. All right, so next one, we've got cookies. 21 out of 509 students times 100 means 4.13% of students prefer cookies. And then we'll come back to our total in just a minute. So let's do 7th graders who prefer donuts. 86 out of 509 times 100 gives me 16.9%. 7th graders in ice cream sandwiches, 28 divided by 509 times 100, 5.5%. And then cookies for 7th graders is 17 divided by 509 times 100, 3.34. So so far that's the smallest. 7th graders and cookies is the smallest population there. So then next one is 8th grade. So 8th graders that prefer donuts is 26 out of that 509 times 100. Okay, ice cream sandwiches, 8th graders that prefer ice cream sandwiches, 95. That's a lot of them out of 509. Yeah, 509. And then times 100. Got that part. 18.66. Still not the most. And then 8th graders that prefer cookies, 67 over that 509 times 100. All right, so now in our totals columns, we're still talking about percentages. I want to add these 3 rows here. So this number is going to be 19.56 plus, or sorry, I'm sorry, 65 plus, there's my 56, 13.56 plus 4.13. So out of the entire population, we have surveyed 37.33% were 6th graders. Okay, so 7th graders, 16.9 plus 5.5 plus 3.34. So 7th grade, only 25% of the students surveyed were in 7th grade. And then 5.11 plus 18.66 plus 13.16. And then 36.94% of students were 8th graders. Okay, so again, these totals over here represent the percentage of total students that were surveyed, what grade they were from. So about 37% of the surveys were 6th graders, about 25.7% were 7th graders, and then about almost 37% were 8th graders. And so now we have our other total columns here. So this is now going to tell me how many percentage or how many students prefer donuts. So I'm going to again add this entire column here. So 19.65 plus 16.9 plus 5.11. So 41.65% of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders prefer donuts. Now we're going to add these three numbers. 5 plus 18.66. 37.72 prefer ice cream sandwiches. And then my last column, 20.63% prefer cookies. So if you look at this and I asked you, you know, which of these desserts is preferred the most, you can tell me that donuts is 41% of students prefer donuts. And then hopefully you're kind of putting together what this column should be here. What is percentage always out of? And that is our 100% right there. So you can complete your worksheet and try to create a marginal relative frequency distribution table yourself.